Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new tutorial. In this tutorial we will discuss about Oracle Tablespace. What is an Oracle Tablespace? Oracle divides a database into one or more logical storage into units called tablespaces. Each tablespace consists of one or more files called data file. A data file physically stores the data objects of the database, such as tables and indexes, on disk. In other words, Oracle logically stores data in the table spaces and physically stores data in data files associated with the corresponding table spaces. The following picture illustrates the relationship between a database, table spaces, and data files. Here we can see the database, then table space, and then data file. Data files are contained in table space, and table spaces are contained in database. By using table spaces, you can perform the following operations: control the storage size allocated for the database data, grant specific space for us to the database users, control the available of data by checking table spaces online or offline. More on this later. Improve the performance of the database by allocating data storage across devices. Perform partially database data for recovery. Default table spaces in Oracle. Oracle comes with the following default table spaces: system, sysaux, users, undo3bs1, and temp. The system and aux table spaces stores information generated objects such as data dictionary tables, and you should not store any objects in these table spaces. The user's table space is helpful for ad hoc users. The undo TBS holds the undo data. The temp is the temporary table space which is used for storing intermediate results of storing, hashing, and large object processing operations. Online and offline table spaces. A table space can be online or offline. If a table space is offline, you cannot access data stored in it. On the other hand, if a table space is online, its data is available for reading and writing. Note that the system table space mode must always be online because it contains the data dictionary that must be available to Oracle. Normally, a table space is online so that its data is available to users. However, you can take a table space offline to make data inaccessible to users when you update and maintain the application. In case of some error, such as header failure, Oracle automatically takes an online table space offline. Any attempt to access data in offline table space will result in an error. This is Oracle SQL Developer. Now we are connected with sys users. I just want to open new worksheet. Sys user. This is worksheet. So I just want to follow some steps here or explain some example by using these steps. First step is the Oracle database statement allows you to create a new table space. Okay. The following illustrates how to create a new table space named DB167 TBS with size 1 MB. Okay. This is create, then table space, then table space name, then data files. This is data file name where data will be stored, and this is the 1 MB size of table space TB167 tabs TBS. If I execute this query snippet, our table space created successfully. So our second option is set tablespace info. Tablespace file name. This is our tablespace name. So if I select this snippet and execute, here we can see the tablespace name which all created successfully by using this query snippet. And here we can see the tablespace file location, data file location. Here the location. So if I copy this line and paste here, sorry, if I exit, select this one, here we can see the table space data file db167 tbs data .df and dbf created successfully. So if I go back here, this is the data file name and which is created successfully. Step 3, table space and create table statement. Here the table space, and this is the consumer table creation statement. Create table consumer id integer generated always as primary key, last name var 32, table space here tb167 tbs. So if I execute this snippet, a table created consumer successfully on db167 tbs table space. Let's check the table is created on db167 or not. If I select this one, here we can see the consumer table and its associated table space is db167 underscore tbs. Step 5, insert 10,000 rows into the actually consumer here, consumer. So if I execute this query snippet to insert 10,000 records into consumer, anonymous block completed. If I select, let's take the table data from consumer. Here we can see 10,000 records inserted into consumer. Step 7, check the free space of the table space. Actually, this is the table spaces by querying from db free space view, data dictionary view actually. So if I execute this query snippet, you can see this is the table space and its remaining free space is 0.375 megabyte. So this is another one. Insert 10,000 more rows into consumer actually, consumer tables. Oracle will issue an error due to insufficient storage. So if I execute this query snippet, here we can see Here we can see the error. Here we can see unable to extend table space, unable to extend the table sees consumer by 8 in table space DB167 tabs. So it's table is free space not available right now. Actually, this is table space. TBS. So if I check the free space of table space DB167 tabs TBS, actually, here we can see the no results for free space for this table space DB167 underscore TBS. So what is the fixing way to resolve this issue? Here, to fix this, you can resize the table space using the following alter table database statement. Alter database data file. This is the associated data files and its size 10 MB. So if I execute with this snippet, database altered successfully. Another example, if I insert 10,000 rows into table consumer, actually Oracle will issue an error, will not actually issue an error due to insufficient storage because we have available storage. Here we can see anonymous block completed. Okay, so in this way we can use table spaces. Oracle drop table space statement. Drop table space, then table space name, including contents and keep data files. Cascade constraint. First one is specify the name of the table space that you want to drop after the drop table space keywords. Second, use the include contents to delete all contents of the table space if the table space has any objects. You must use this option to remove the table space. Any attempt to remove a table space that has objects without specifying the including contents option will result in an error. Third, use end data files option to instruct Oracle to delete all the data files of the table space and keep data files option to leave the data file untouched. Fourth, if the table space has objects such as tables whose primary keys are referenced by referential integrity constraints from tables outside of the table space. You must use the cascade constraints option to drop these constraints. If you omit the cascade constraints clause, in such situation, Oracle returns an error and does not remove the table space. Or another topic, Oracle drop table space statement. Step 1. Using Oracle drop table space to remove an empty table space example. First create a new table space named TBS1. This is TBS1 table space creation statement. This table space database and data file name TBS1 data DBS for size 10 MB. TBS created successfully. Second, use the drop table space to remove the table space. One table space. So drop table space, then execute this snippet. Table space 1 dropped successfully. Second one is using Oracle drop table space to remove a non-empty table space example. First, create a new table space name TBS1. TBS2 actually created successfully. Second one is create a new table TB2 in the table space TBS2 created successfully. Third, use the drop table space statement to drop the table space 2. If I execute this snippet, here we can see the error. Table space is not empty. Table space is not empty. Use including content option. To drop the table space TBS2, we need to use the including contents option. Here, including content option, because we have objects in table space TBS2. Table space dropped successfully. Using Oracle drop table space to remove a table space. Both table spaces are referenced by referential constraints. First, create two tables named TBS3 and TBS4. So if I execute this query snippet, table space created successfully. This is another one table space created successfully. Next, create a new table in the TBS3 table space. This is the T3 and its ID is C1 and table space TBS3. So if I execute this query snippet, created successfully. Table created successfully. Then create a new table in the TBS4 table space. This is the TB4 table, T4 table, and its table space is TBS4. So if I execute this query snippet, created here, this is the remarkable. Here the C2 is referenced with C2. Its table is T3 and C1. Okay. Drop that. After that, drop the table space TBS3. Here we can see the message Oracle unique or primary keys in the table space by foreign keys. Finally, use the drop table space that includes the cascade constraints option to drop the table space. This is the cascade constraints. This is including contents and data files. So if I execute this query snippet, our table space removed successfully. Hope you enjoy this tutorial. If you have any ask, just leave a comment in comment box. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.